Hey man, say man, back at y'all again today man with another video. We're still in Japan, we're still hitting the off stores. Let's get it. So I have been to this hard off a few times already. Here we are back again at one of my favorite hard offs in Satima. Now we've been here before, so we know exactly where to go. We're gonna walk straight upstairs, go straight past the figures, diecast, and collectibles to get to the console cabinet. The main thing we're doing today is going to some of my stores that I frequent just to see if they put any new stuff out. But really today it looks like at this particular hard off, it's a bunch of the same. Still got that PlayStation 5 pad down there. We have the Game Boy Color, a couple micros, and we also do still have that pretty fancy Dreamcast controller sitting on the top up there. But all that stuff they've been had, nothing we're looking for in particular. I do still need to pick up a copy of Leaf Green, and I also do still need to pick up a copy of Emerald, and I'm always looking to see what I can find on the console end of things. Now if you didn't see the last video, pay attention just in case there's something in this one that you might have missed from the last one. But really guys, it's all the same amount of stuff. This is the same controller that was sitting there sealed in the last video, so it's going to be a quick trip to this one, taking a quick look at the sealed wall. Yeah, still no updates. So I think from here we're going to go ahead and keep it pushing and go on to our next hard off. We are on the way to another hard off. I've hit over 200 off stores in the time I've been here in Japan, just a couple months. So I can't remember if I've actually been to this one or not. Once I got inside the store, I could definitely tell I have not been to this hard off before. Okay, pretty sick. When you first walk in, you have a ton of different vintage receivers, AM/FM cassette decks as well. It was pretty cool to see all that stuff. I wish I had a way to bring something like that back home because I do love my vintage receivers, but those things are just so heavy and it would pretty much take up a whole suitcase. So let's get straight upstairs guys and go check out what they have for the games. The staircase at this one was pretty sick. It was very pushed off to the side, and when you first walk upstairs you have a few guitars. You had a very small console cabinet, but they did have an exclusive 64 in there, some GT Force wheel up top. They had a nice copy of Fire Red in the game case back there. I was so tempted to get that copy, although I had already picked it up without the wireless adapter, and I didn't want another one just to get a wireless adapter, even though it would have been, technically a better deal than the last one I picked up. It is what it is. Now the whole reason I came to this specific store was a channel called 4am Laundry. He had posted some stuff, a video or two the other day, where he toured the store. He actually streamed at this store, and they had a controller that I was looking for. However, I was too late and that controller was gone. I needed another ice blue controller to get a complete set of ice blues for my 64, so that's the whole reason I came to this specific store. But that's not to say they might not have something else to find. So I want to keep it looking. I want to see what kind of iPods they have. They got any cool chargers, anything vintage that I might be missing or could do with. I definitely want to pay attention to. This store doesn't have the most games, but they do have a decent amount of accessories here at this particular store, and some older stuff that you definitely don't see everywhere. So it's always cool to take your time and flip through these junk bins. Even if you come for a certain item that isn't there, you might get lucky and find something else, which actually is exactly what I ended up doing here. I ended up finding a iPod in the case at this store. It was an older iPod Touch with the camera front and back. I want to say it was probably a 4th generation that I was able to grab for a pretty good deal. I also did find a couple different iPods in the junk section that we're about to go check out in a minute, and all those iPods, they had fried batteries, but I still ended up picking up one of them. Now they had some stuff on the hangers in this store that actually were pretty nice to see. Here in the case of their junk section, I actually didn't find too much, but when I went back and double took on the hangers, that's where I found the iPods I was talking about. Now when I first walked in, that's where I found the first iPod, that Touch 4th generation, but that was already something I knew I was going to grab from the minute I walked into this store. They had some studio monitors here in the junk section, and if I was going to spend any longer of a length of time in Japan, then I definitely would go ahead and deck out the apartment. But I already have so much baggage as it is now, I'm barely going to be able to take everything home with me when I make it back to the States. So we're doing the best we can with what we got on the limited space that we have. But check out all those receivers in the junk section, man. They had a ton of stuff there too. Got some random stuff here in their electronic junk section on their locked case. It's pretty cool to see all the different stuff you have at all these individual hard offs, man. To me, someone who loves these vintage electronics, this is something that's never gonna get old. It's kind of like thrift shopping or pawn shopping. Whenever you go into these stores, you're gonna see something that you're not gonna see every day elsewhere. I mean, unless you're doing this every day like I was for a while. So I was super excited to check out this hard off, and it turned out to be one that I had never been to before, so I was glad to add this to my arsenal on list of stores. Gotta love a good hard off audio digital store. Now, a lot of these stores, if I don't post the address, you can take a screenshot of the front of the store and look that up in Google image search to find that store. So if I do miss an address on one of these stores, I'll try to find it for y'all and recover it for you this way. Before we wrap up the review, let's take a look at the front case real fast. Quick glance at the guitars. Always having some fire in these cases, guys. And I think I showed the iPod that I got here as well in just a second. Yeah, it's going to be that one in the case on the left. Yep, there we go. So it's iPod Touch 4th generation, and it did still have the original box with it too, so that was pretty cool. Had to grab it.
So guys, I definitely need to do a better job of showing what I pick up, but I did grab a 4th generation iPod Touch. It's one of the rounded ones, but it still has a camera front and back. We're gonna go and check out this Huragaya. It's on the way. It's only an extra 200 yen to make this stop, so why not pull over, check out this Sudagaya, and we'll head back to the hard off. We've only had a few days of full sun here in Japan, and let me say I am already missing how it was the previous few days. But yeah, there's the contrast. Let's go check it out, and hopefully we can get some steals and deals.
Yeah, guys, this is why you never give up. Now, this is a game I do already have, but every single Sudagaya I've ever been to, I've never found a good deal, so I have to buy it just for the sheer fact that this ruby is only 1,200 yen. Normally at Sudagayas, I see these going for anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 yen. I also did find this gold 64. It didn't have any of the accessories. It didn't have any cables. I don't even know if this console worked, but for 6,900 yen, keeping it pushing, I made my way over to their iPod junk case, and they had a bunch of nanos in here, anywhere from 500 to 1,000 yen. All those are pretty good deals, so we got to take a look at those and see how they're hitting. After that, I went ahead and pushed on to their electronics section again. I saw a couple ice blues here, but the prices were pretty high, and at that point I decided to go back to a hard off that I went to yesterday off camera to pick up a 64 that I saw for just 6,600 yen. So I'm gonna show you guys that here in a minute, but for now let's go ahead and keep shopping through this Sudagaya to see what else we can find. Here in the junk section, you can always find some good items, and I've spent some good amount of time at the Sudagaya junk sections, and I've got stuff like a Sonic 25th Anniversary Dreamcast game in working condition, complete in box, for just 100 yen. So I wanted to take a look at some of the stuff they had in their cabinet, just because the store was already pretty decent as it was. So I wanted to see if they had any heat in the cabinet, and they did have some heat, but honestly nothing too out of the water. Now, they had another gold 64, but you see that we saw one in the junk section. Maybe these guys come with the controllers or something, who knows. In my opinion, this Sudagaya was well worth the stop. If you have the opportunity to make the hard off journey that I did on this list in this video, then you might want to go ahead and take the time to stop off at this Sudagaya too. But for now, there's only one last thing left that I need to do, and that's go pick up my Nintendo 64 Ice Blue console. Let's get it.
Well guys, back to the same hard off. We saw this Ice Blue 64 yesterday. I think they're still gonna have it. Let's get in there and see. So we were just at Sudagaya right now.
At Sudagaya, the Ice Blue controllers were going for 3,600 yen. Here at this hard off, you can get the whole console and the controller in ice blue for a total of 6,000 yen. So you know we gotta grab it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Chances are if you like this one, you'll like these two. And until next time, I'll be out this thing. Peace!